Welcome back, High Floor Heroes. This is Chad, and this is the High Floor Fantasy Show. Like, comment, subscribe, click on that notification bell. Please do me a favor and don't smash anything. I abhor violence, so please just click it. And when you're done here, head on over to Patreon and support me. You can take a look around there and see what kind of exclusive content I offer to the Patreon supporters. I'd really appreciate that. Okay, we're going to have a look at our top 10 wide receivers after week 2, starting with Tyler Lockett from Seattle. Number 1 comes in at a floor rating of 100 with a standard deviation of 4.1. The average standard deviation for the top 75 running backs is 6.51, so he was below average standard deviation, which means he was more consistent than the rest of the pack there. 8 receptions for 178 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. That offense is going to be smoking. Let Russ cook, right? Although I do feel like I may have picked the wrong guy. I kind of went with Metcalf. So we'll see what happens as the season progresses, but they're going to be smoking up there in Seattle. Okay, having a look at number 2, Cooper Kupp, LA Rams. Floor rating of 97.52. He was above average in standard deviation with 9.55, meaning he was less consistent so far than the rest of them. 9 receptions, 163 receiving yards, and 2 receiving touchdowns. This is another one where I feel like I may have picked the wrong guy. I kind of went with that stack of Stafford and Robert Woods. But Cooper Kupp is the one getting all the love. So, did I pick wrong? Let's give it a few more weeks, and I guess we'll see. Okay, number 3, also from Los Angeles, Mike Williams from the Los Angeles Chargers. I see LAC. Every time I see LAC, I'm thinking Los Angeles Clippers. He comes in with a floor rating of 81.47. Unbelievable standard deviation so far of 0.07. His point differential, fantasy point differential between week 1 and week 2 was only 1/10 of 1 fantasy point. 7 receptions for 91 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. I've been pretty high on the offenses, both offenses in Los Angeles since the preseason. Stafford and Herbert, I have both in a couple of my leagues. It's going to be great to watch these guys just light it up this season. Okay, this one's a bit of a surprise. Number 4, Marquise Brown from Baltimore. Floor rating of 74.30. Really good standard deviation of 2.76, meaning he's very consistent. I am kind of surprised to see a receiver from Baltimore be up in the top 10, given that run-heavy or run-first offense. But let's see here. 6 receptions for 113 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. I mean, you're getting over 100 yards as a receiver in that run-heavy offense. Looking good year to date. Okay, number 5 is a bit of a surprise to me as well. Sterling Shepard from the New York Giants. Floor rating of 72.08. Standard deviation of 4.17. Who knew that Daniel Jones was going to have that kind of shoot-the-lights-out week? He lit up everybody's bench along with Taylor Heineke. Nobody saw that coming. I certainly didn't. 9 receptions, 94 receiving yards. Slightly inconsistent, but still below the average standard deviation. So I don't know how long this is going to last, but I do wish Daniel Jones and that whole crew a good year, because if this is going to be, he's in a situation like Darnold and maybe Burrow, I'd say more like Mayfield. Something's going to happen. They're going to have to put something together. So let's keep an eye on that. All right, number 6, Deebo Samuel from San Francisco. Comes in with a floor rating of 71.57. Very inconsistent standard deviation of 11.88. Honestly, I have not been interested in any of the offense in San Francisco. Deebo Samuel, 6 receptions, 93 receiving yards, 8 rushing yards. I'm just not really interested. I guess we'll see what happens. Number 7, Brandon Cooks from Houston. Floor rating of 70.39. He's been pretty consistent so far. Standard deviation of 3.25. Let's face it, Houston is a mess. I'm not really interested in anything to do with that offense either. 9 receptions for 78 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and it came from Davis Mills. So I think Houston is just light fuse, get away. I don't really want anything to do with it. Okay, so the next 2 I'm actually happy about. Number 8, Adam Thielen from Minnesota. Floor rating of 69. That's one of my favorite numbers. He hasn't been so consistent. Standard deviation of 10.11. But I think people were sleeping on Cousins. And the Irv Smith Jr. thing was horrible. But Thielen is still there. Thielen, let's see here. 6 receptions, 39 receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown. Again, I think people were sleeping on Cousins. I've got him as a number 2 in a few of my leagues. I think 2 or 3 of my leagues as in Superflex. I do a lot of 10-team Superflex. That's kind of what I like to focus on. But that Minnesota offense, underrated, and I'm going to keep an eye on them. Happy about 2 in a row here. Number 9, CeeDee Lamb from Dallas. Floor rating of 68.47. Standard deviation of 4.24. Who's going to be the guy in Dallas? Is it going to be Amari Cooper? Is it going to be Lamb? I don't care. And I said this yesterday in the quarterback review and the running back reviews. In a lot of cases like this, your best bet is to just have the quarterback on a team like this. Dak Prescott, he's shooting the lights out. CeeDee Lamb, 8 receptions for 81 receiving yards, and he had 13 rushing yards as well. This is an offense to keep your eyes on, and Dak looks good coming back from his horrible injury. So this is a case of pick 'em again. Which one did you pick? Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb? We'll see. And finally coming in at number 10, Chris Godwin from Tampa Bay. Floor rating of 65.73. Standard deviation of 5.87. He's very consistent. 4 receptions for 62 receiving yards and 1 receiving touchdown. I'm liking the success of Chris Godwin so far. Top 10 after week 2. I still haven't forgiven Mike Evans for the goose egg he put up in week 6, I believe it was, or week 5, about 2 years ago. I had him on my team, and I kept checking my scores, and his score wasn't going up at all. I was like, is he even playing? It's a terrible feeling when you keep checking your fantasy scores and you just see your opponent walking all over you. But Chris Godwin, Tampa Bay offense is on fire. And that's going to do it for our top 10s after week 2, wide receivers. I appreciate you listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Click on that notification bell. Please don't smash anything. I abhor violence. And please support me on Patreon. You can help the channel. Go over there and take a look at all the floor rating information that you can have access to. I really appreciate it. Until next time.